Shalom, brothers. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh by Shimi Shai. Double honors to the apostles of GMS, the great millstone who rule well, and salutations to Joachim on the highways and byways that's noising this gospel abroad on the four corners of the earth and to the ears of the elect. Alright? Lord willing, I entitled this video Inside Look at the Brains of the So-Called White Man, or something along those lines. Because there's plenty of scriptures that tell you that this man's thoughts, right? His whole way of thinking, his philosophies, his mental, is from emotionally to spiritually, how he behaves is all it's all scripted, right? And I want to piece together a couple of scriptures that talk about his logic, man. His way of thinking, just to, because hey, at the end of the day, our job is to expose. You know, it says it's written over Obadiah how are the hidden things of Esau searched out. They're searched out through us, through the prophets, through the men that's been blessed to obtain this knowledge and to spit it out. All right. So the first scripture that I'm going to read is Psalms. This is Psalms chapter 49, verse 11. It says, "Their inward thoughts is that the houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names." So their inward thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Meaning what they think inside their brain is that their houses shall continue forever, and that their dwelling places to all generations. So this links up with Obadiah 1 and 3. The pride of thy heart. Alright, because your heart, remember your heart is your brain, has deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, who saith in his heart, again his brain, who shall bring me down to the ground. So in his brain, he thinks that nobody's going to bring him down to the ground, nobody's going to knock him off his pivot, and that his houses will continue forever. So he can go along in the world and do whatever it is the hell that he wants to do, and nobody's going to bring him down. Nobody's going to stop him, right? Nobody's going to get in his way of his agenda, which is to complete this new world order in which he has total dominance over everything, spiritually, mentally, economically, all right, militarily, all right. He has control over trade, which he has control over all the natural resources, from gas to the coal, to mining, to diamonds, to gold, all right, in which he's monopolized everything, and ultimately his goal is to chip everybody, because that is the ultimate stamp of control and approval to his control, right? So this is let's go back to Psalms 149 so we can get a little bit more off that. It says, "In their inward thoughts is that the houses shall continue forever." If you notice Esau, he's always talking about the next generation. You know, he's talking about Barack Obama or government leaving debt for their children and what their children is gonna have, and setting off a college fund for their children, and leaving the house to their children, and leaving money, and leaving the family business to their sons, leaving whatever it is, their inheritance, leaving everything that they own, in which the scriptures talk about that being a righteous thing. A righteous man, a good man will leave his inheritance to his home, but riches gotten not deceitfully, not by stealing, right? You pass something down, you pass riches that you stole down to your child, you pass down to him a curse, because eventually he's going to have to pay for that. But when you pass down riches got by hard work, that's a righteous thing. That's what you're supposed to do. All right. It says, "In the dwelling places to generations, and they call lands after their own name." America, right, is named after Edomite. Africa is named after an Edomite. You got cities like Washington State, that's named after George, the so-called founding fathers of America. Lincoln. You got streets named after these devils, houses, memorials that are named after these devils. This is their intention. You know, when they go to a place, they want to rename it and leave a mark. Matter of fact, real quick. So these two scriptures from Psalms 149 to 11 to Obadiah tell you briefly what's in the inward thoughts. But when you go to Psalms, the second chapter, a beautiful chapter, man, it really gets into the again, it really gets into the mental of the so-called white man. This is Psalms chapter 2, verse 1. For the ungodly saith, reason within themselves, but not aright, because it is written in the book of Habakkuk that his soul that is lifted up in him is not right, man, because he has to be contrary towards righteousness. He has to be against the men of the Lord. He has to be an enemy with the children of Israel. He has to play that role of that physical manifestation of Satan. He has to be that enemy, that adversary, right? Reasoning within themselves, but not right. Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of the man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to return from the grave. So he said, our life is tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy. In other words, there's no. Esau will tell you that there's no coming back from death, because he doesn't possess that power to give life into man. That's where the buck stop with him. So they'll tell you, and really when you read this, and there was, and real quick, and neither was there any man known to return from the grave. In a nutshell, when you read this first chapter, this first verse, and going even on down to about the fourth verse, all they're saying is YOLO. You only live once, live it up. One life to live. Do your thing, enjoy, do as thou wilt, which is a demonic term from Aleister Crowley, one of their top demons, which is probably Esau manifested and back in reincarnation in the flesh again. Just speaking as a man, I don't know, but man, that was one goddamn demon, man. Aleister Crowley, and that was one of his terms that he put forth that still carries on today. Do as thou wilt, meaning what? Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to return from the grave. For we are born at all adventure, and we shall hereafter be as though we have never been. So, in this verse, you could get that Esau understands that this is as good as it gets for him, man. He's gonna say it too, that this is our lot, but this is as good as it gets for him. He's saying that this is our kingdom. This is our lot. This is what we've been given. After the birthright came, there was like a time of mourning, and then after he lost the birthright, Esau, right, to Jacob. After that, going back to Genesis, the 25th chapter, there was a time of mourning when he was angry. Then he said, "When my father died, I'll get my revenge." And then it was a time. The stages of mourning is first you're shocked, right? You're upset, you're crying, you're emotional, and then there's the stage where you realize that you got to get over the death of somebody or get over the fact that what happened. You need to move forward, right? So in his moving forward, Esau is saying this, like, look, he stole our birthright. Our heritage is to be slaves, right? We're not gonna inherit the earth, right? We're not gonna be kings over the whole world in righteousness. This is our lot, so we're gonna live it up. We're gonna play there's an old saying in the world, play the hand that was dealt to you. So that's what Esau is gonna do. He's saying we're gonna play the hand that was dealt to us, and this is it. There's nothing we can do. I'm gonna read this again, verse 2. For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had not been. For the breath of our nostrils is as smoke, and the little spark as the moving heart, which have been extinguished. Our bodies shall be returned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish off in the thin air. Man, that's heavy, man. Because when I read that, I get two things out of it. The first thing is, again, they'll tell you, look, man, we all die. Our body's gonna go into ashes. We're gonna go into the grave. Let's live it up. But at the same time, when he's saying our spirit shall vanish as the soft air, understanding that his lot is to be ultimately destroyed, man. So on a small level, yes, we all do die, but some of us here, as prophesied on the highways and byways, right? Some of the elect are not gonna taste death. You need to understand that, all right? So when he says, our body shall return to ashes, and our spirit shall vanish off into thin air, yeah, when you do die, the spirit goes back to the Father, but ultimately, there's going to be no more remaining of the house of Esau, as it is written in the book of Obadiah. This is a future prophecy that's going to take place. All right? So this is the mind frame of the so-called white man. Verse 4, our names shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance. I watch a lot of these videos of the white population, and Esau is freaking out. There's a bunch of videos, if you brothers check them out, about the white birth rate. His fertility rate is under 2. They're not having children. They're sleeping with dogs. They're all gay, lesbians, just women's rights movements. And Esau don't want to have kids. He don't want kids, peanut butter, getting stains on his leather seats, and it's not cool for Esau. He never really raised kids. Edomite women never experienced that. Jake was always raising their kids. Even to this day, you see them with nannies, mostly the Latin tribes, when they have a certain amount of money. When you see these housewives of Hollywood, and these bitches ain't having kids. They ain't thinking about kids. Even when they got kids, they ain't raising them. They got a nanny. What's that called? It's a nanny, a maid. Just caretakers. So, but I say that to say, when I'm watching these videos, they all freaking out about their population, man. They all freaking about Issachar and basically the 12 tribes overpopulating in America, taking over, becoming the majority in America, and then becoming a minority. So they all freaking out about this. Our names shall be forgotten in time. And one guy, he's a lead demon for what's called the alt-right, and the alt-right is the short for alternative right, and it's a far right movement in which they want to close the borders. They want to stop people from color, from so-called people from color, from coming into America. They want to. These are the people that really want to make America white again. Make it like it was in the past. It's the alt-right, and this is something that one of the leading spokesmen. I wish I know his name. Maybe I could, Lord willing, I could put the description. Put the name of this man in the description. You brothers could check him out. What he said was basically, when they become a minority, they're going to get treated like shit. They're going to forget their name. They're going to forget about their history. They're going to forget about their culture, because your culture really sucks. Your culture is really, the white man's culture is a culture that's been stolen from everybody else's. He really has no culture. His culture is barbarism, Vikings, medieval time, freaking slaughtering each other and conquering and killing and stealing. That's basically what he has for culture. What's white people food? There's no such thing really. Jake got soul food. Asian, Chinese food. Latin tribes got their. But what's white people food really? I mean, the Italians got that soul food because of them Jakes that are down there. But again, what do they do? Dance? Fucking what's that? River dance and all that bullshit, man. They have no culture. They have no swag. They have their culture is dry. Nobody wants to follow that bull crap, right? So it says, our name will be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance, and our life shall pass away as the trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed in the mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun, and overcome with the heat thereof. For a time is a very shadow that passeth away. Again, because it's written, for the triumph of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment, in the book of Job. Alright? So the elites, we ain't talking about you Homer Simpson, Joe Pack, six-pack, duff drinking clowns. He's talking about the elites that study these scriptures, that know these scriptures, the so-called the illuminated ones. No so-called the illuminated ones, because they know the truth. They know who the children of Israel is. They know that the Lord is coming back. That's why they're actively preparing to fight against some Star Wars, and that know that these prophecies are coming to pass. It says, for after the end there is no returning, for it is sealed, so that no man cometh again. Let us therefore enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use these creatures like as in youth. Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and that's what Esau do. Moet, champagne, and Cristal. He's living it up, because again, he's came to that conclusion that his birthright is gone. This is his law, and it's gonna say it. So hey, why soak around kicking yourself in the ass because you got played out of your birthright? This is your kingdom, so you might as well live it up. And that makes perfect sense, rightfully so. If this was my kingdom, I would want to be living it up, you know. And let no flower pass the spring. Let no flower of the spring pass us by, meaning live life to the fullest. Enjoy everything that you can, right? Enjoy the moment. That Esau got that saying, living in the moment, enjoy the moment. But also, literally, let no flower of the spring pass us by. You saw, I'm planting my garden, or you see Esau downtown in the Commons or in Central Park, walking and just enjoying life like you really want to, but you know you really can't because you got other stresses to worry about. You know, hey, Jake want to walk through the park too. You know, Jake want to go to the lake and barbecue and have fun and with peace of mind, but we can't. You see Edomite kids playing and skipping in the grass and planting flowers, and we can't do that. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds, therefore they be withered. You know, let none of us go without his part of voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place. Yeah, let everybody get their portion. You know, especially during the 1600s. You know, the Spaniards went out, they got theirs. The Portuguese went out, they got theirs. The British went out, the French went out, the Dutch went out. Everybody went went around the world and established their foothold, so to speak, and they received the joys, they received the pleasures, they received the women, they received the gold, right? They received the concubine, they received the foods, they received the wine, the rum. They had all that, right? And read again. Let us go with none of us go without his portion, slacking. Let none of us go without his part of voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place. Let us throw up Let's throw up a big ass statue of Cesare Borgia looking over Brazil. You know, that's a token of their joyfulness, right? Let us shoot up the nose of the Sphinx, right? In Egypt and leave our mark here. You know, let us leave our town here. Let us stick our flag in here. Let us leave a military base here. Let us leave an embassy here. Let us make our mark, right? Let us for this is our portion and this is our lot. So the elect, the elite of Esau knows that this is their lot. Their role is to be the wicked. Their role is to be the devil. Their role is to have this kingdom. This is their dominion, and they're gonna roll with it. And why not? This is their lot. Again, their lot is something you can't control, right? Now here's the kicker. Here's why Esau is a goddamn demon, man. Here's verse 10. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reference the ancient graves of the hair of the age. Yeah, I mean, you got everything. So now, when you receive this oppression, when you receive this hell, understand that it was all set up. It was all set up. Like you can't convince Esau to stop giving you hell. You can't convince him to stop oppressing you. You can't. He's gonna kill you because this is what pleases him. It pleases him to shoot you niggas down in the streets. It pleases him to keep you guys poor in the ghettos and keep us poor in the ghettos. It pleases him to take our wages. It pleases these insurance companies to screw you over. It pleases him. Right? This is what gives him pleasure. He receives pleasure. It says, let us not spare the widow, nor reference the ancient grave of the hairs of the age. Meaning, we don't care if you, it pleases him to see the percentage rate of the so-called black man at 78%. This is a system in which he has designed purposely to do so by kicking the father out the house and now making the women the head of the household, making it very clear and obvious that she can receive subsidies, she can receive housing, she can receive food, she can receive everything she needs, but as long as the father is not around. So it pleases him. That's why it says, let us not spare the widow, nor reference the ancient graves of the age. The ancient graves of the age, meaning the old people. They don't care. It is written in the book of Deuteronomy that they're going to spare nobody. All right? They're not going to care about if you're old. They're not going to care about if you're young. It pleases them to do this, man. You cannot change the so-called white man. I'm giving you an in-depth look through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua of how the so-called white man thinks, man. He is no longer going to be on this planet. He totally understands that. Look at these videos and these artwork. They know that their time is short. They know that they're not going to be on this planet no more, man. They know that they have to live it up, and they want to take as much as Jake out as much as possible. They have declared war on our people. They have declared war on our people. Every war in which way they've been actively trying to wipe us out. They're trying to wipe us out completely. Never trust thy enemy, man. Esau, the so-called white man, is the enemy to you and the enemy of humanity, the enemy of this earth, the enemy of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Period. All right? Lord willing, I do a second verse to this, a second version to this video, because I wanted to get more into it. But as of right now, I'm gonna leave it like this, and I'm gonna go more into this. So with that being said, man, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles of GMS, the Great Millstone, and salutations to you Akim on the highways and byways, and tell you brothers, man, we're living in the last minutes of this kingdom, of this world, this society. Prepare yourselves to be, prepare yourselves for the kingdom to come, because it's only at hand. Lord willing, we get in there. We don't know who those men are, but we know the attributes and we know how they'll be acting. And we know one thing: don't take your hand off that plow, man. Keep pushing this word, keep pushing this truth. Pray for one another, fast. Stay in the spirit, and Lord willing, man, I'll see you brothers on the flip side. Shalom.